Okay. So once again, good afternoon. I guess we need to start looking at the time. We are at 2:10. So before we begin, I just want to do a quick roll call on, especially on the facilities that we had expected to attend this virtual training. So I just want to run through the list. You just need to carry up your hand. Just raise your hand if you are here. So I'll just call the name of the facility. Please, if you are here, just raise your hand. So I'll start with Vihiga County. Are we here? Vihiga County. I don't know if I saw a hand. I didn't really see a hand. Bikeke Health Center. Please raise your hand if you are here. Thank you. St. Raphael Dispensary. Just lower your hand after that, please. So Bikeke St. Raphael Dispensary, please raise your hand. I didn't see any hand. How about Londiani? Londiani, if there is a representative, please raise your hand. Next is Narok County Referral. Do we have anyone from Narok? Narok County Referral. Thank you. Just lower your hand again. Kogelo Dispensary. Kogelo Dispensary, anyone? Thank you. You can lower your hand. Goro Dispensary. Anyone from Boro Dispensary? I can't see a hand. FITC Nakuru. Any representative from FITC Nakuru? None. Coptic Hospital. Thank you. You can lower your hands. Then we have Machakos Dice. Anyone from Machakos Dice? Next is Mulumba Hospital. Anyone? Thank you, Pauline. You can lower your hand now. Meru Hospital. Thank you. Next is Mukuyuni. Mukuyuni Hospital. Anyone from Mukuyuni Health Center? Okay. Machakos level 5. Anyone from Machakos? Thank you. You can lower your hand. Next is Mbagathi. Thank you. You can lower your hands. Then lastly, we have Wema Hospital. Wema. Okay, I'm informed that Lanet is supposed to be here. Anyone from Lanet? Lanet. Thank you. Okay, you can lower your hand now. Yes, I think the representation is okay. I think we have the majority of the facility. It would be good to know if we have St. Raphael, if we have Vihiga, if we have Flondiani, if we have Boro Dispensary, Machakos Dice, and Mukuyuni. So if you are here, please just you can just send a chat in the chat area. Valentine, you want to say something? Yes.
Yeah, there is one facility, Embu. I don't know if they are here.
Embu.
Embu, yeah.
Yeah, Embu, if you are here, kindly raise up your hand.
Is it Embu? Is it Embu Kiambu? Is it Embu Kiambu? Not Embu, sorry. It's Kiambu, sorry. Kiambu. It's Kiambu, sorry. I confused it with Embu.
Okay, so do you have Kiambu? Okay, so I believe maybe they'll join us in due course. So I guess in the interest of time, we can just get this started. So first of all, I want to take this opportunity to welcome everyone for this training today. We are going to focus our training on KenyaEMR based on OpenMRS 3.x. So I think few facilities were nominated to help us test out this particular version of KenyaEMR for a period of time and give us some feedback. I know there are facilities that have participated in this for some time now, and they have always continued to give us very valuable feedback, which we appreciate. So I also know that we onboarded new facilities to also participate in the piloting, in the control deployment, sorry. So in here, we are a mixture of the old guys who are really a bit conversant on OpenMRS 3.x, and I know there are participants here who are going to be very new on this particular platform. So we really made a very deliberate decision to bring all of us here together so that we can learn from the old folks and also introduce the new folks onto this new exciting platform. So that you can take advantage as early adopters, go through it, use the modules on your daily tasks, and give us feedback so that when the time comes for full rollout, your feedback shall already be taken in and addressed, and the system will have been improved to really meet the quality standards that you expect as a facility, so that your experience as you interact with the EMR may improve. Okay. So before we get right into it, I just wanted to call a few of my colleagues here to make few remarks, just to put this into context. Then after that, we'll just have a short presentation. Then we'll now go to the walkthrough, where we're going to take you through the whole navigation of OpenMRS 3.x. So to start us off, I'll call upon QA to start us off with a few comments, just to let the users understand why we are doing this and what we expect from them. Karibu sana, Valentine.
Thanks, Otieno, and thank you, team, for joining. So the purpose for this meeting is just to walk you through on the OpenMRS 3.0. Some are already piloting this, so we've added some new sites, and it was just good for us to do a refresher training for the previous facilities and also the new team that is joining in. So basically, what we intend to do this time round is we really need this feedback as quick as possible. That's why we've targeted a few facilities to help us doing this. So majorly we'll focus on appointment, scheduling, and service queues, and then now we have the forms. So we've availed all the forms, and we'd like you to help us check if the forms are okay, just as they were in 2.x, with the validations and all indicators and variables included, just as they were in 2.x. So that's the target, but we are also hoping that we'll be able to divide this after the training so that facilities can give us their strength where they can focus more, whether it is they do more of prep modules. So for those facilities, we'll align you to the prep module so that you can be able to give us more feedback on the prep module. If there are those facilities that are more on KP, we'll also require you to give us feedback more on KP. Then HIV, HTS, and all that. So that's the major purpose of this. So we'll also share with you some of the test cases and some of the things that will require you to check for us at the end of the testing, as you be able to do this test. So ideally your facilities will be upgraded with the package that has the OpenMRS 3.0 in those areas, that is the service queue, the appointment, and forms. Once your facility is upgraded on your daily use, you'll be able to give us feedback on the daily use of the system in those specified areas. So we require you to be more attentive, ask any question if there is anything that you don't understand, because after this you'll be in the facility and maybe you'll need a quick question to ask, and we might not be around to give you feedback immediately. So just pay attention and grab as many information that you can get in terms of OpenMRS 3.0. Yeah, so that's the target, and I wish you all the best as you start the training. I don't know if there is any question up to there.
Thank you, Valentine. Maybe we'll allow time for questions a little bit later, so that we can save on time. So just say a word, then we'll end that session with Diana making some remarks. Kezia, if you are here.
Yeah, good afternoon. Otieno, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining in this session. We really look forward to having an interactive session with you. Just taking you through the 3.x platform, and we are counting on you to be our key testers of this new technology that is coming up. So just like Valentine has mentioned, make use of this session to learn as much as you can, ask as many questions as you can, and even as you start interacting with the new platform, feel free to always reach out to us for any feedback, feedback that you may have or any clarifications that you may need. We will be always here to get to support and also to listen to your needs. So all this we are doing is just to make your experience better interacting with the KenyaEMR, and we are all aiming at improving the quality of care to our patients. So let's do this together, and let's work towards attaining the best that we can out of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Kezia, for those very important remarks. So I don't know if Anthony is here. Anthony, if you could just say a word.
Otieno.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. So hi everyone. I think mine is just to thank everyone for the for the feedback that you've been providing, and the attitude and morale to actually take this up and use it in the facilities. So we'll just be looking forward to even more feedback, areas of improvement, and what is not working, so that in the shortest time possible, we have like a really mature platform. Thanks, and over.
Thank you for the remarks, Anthony. Lastly, I'll give Diana also a chance to make some remarks.
Thanks, Otieno, and good afternoon, everyone. And looking at the time, and I don't want to repeat what my colleagues have said. We are looking forward to this wonderful session, and feel free to always reach out for support. For the new sites that are will be activated next week, we'll have team members on the ground to support you to ensure that you get this right at the beginning. And for the older sites also, we'll just have a team on the ground also just to get that intimate feedback from you on the experience and what you'd feel like should be added or changed in the system. But all in all, we really appreciate your support, and we are happy for this partnership. These facilities will go down in history as the facilities that shaped the rollout of OpenMRS 3.x. So your story will be in a chapter once we write a book on the rollout of this wonderful system. So thanks for your time and for joining this call. Over to you, Tien.
Yeah, thank you very much, Diana, for that. Indeed, it's true that the team here will really go down in history as the major contributors in shaping up how the OpenMRS 3.x will look like in this country. So in that regard, mine is just to really ask you to really take your time. If you have a notebook, please keep it next to you and a pen so that you are able to pick up everything that we're going to see today. So looking at the time, we are at 2:30, so I think we just need to get right into it. But before that, I think just a bit of house cleaning so that we know what how we are going to be organized for this particular training. So the first instruction would be that we'll be having a facilitator who will be sharing their screens as they take us through the sessions. Should you have any questions, feel free to raise up your hand. I'll be able to give you the mic so that you can ask your question, but I'd really recommend that you save your questions up to the end of the session so that we save time. I'll give you time to really ask those questions. Again, this meeting is recorded, so you'll be able to interact with the recording after this. It will be posted on our project website, on our project YouTube channel. So after this, feel free to also check it out on the YouTube channel. If you look on your screen, we have a tab for Q&A. Should you have any questions that you'd want to type, feel free to type them under Q&A. Our team here will be able to respond through text so that we can be interactive and engage each other even as the presentations continue. So having said so, I think that is important information to the participants. So at this point, I want to call on our first presenter, who is Donald, to just take us through a few slides just to introduce us to the OpenMRS 3.x platform so that we have that context before we get into the walkthrough. So I'll call upon Donald to just share his screen and take us through this. Over.
Okay, thank you, Atieno. So I'm sharing my screen. I don't know if you're able to see my screen.
Not yet.
Okay, so just a moment. So you're able to see my screen?
Yes, it is now visible.
Yeah. So hi everybody, and welcome once again. So the purpose of this just slide presentation is to give you like a background of the need to migrate to what we call KenyaEMR 3.x that is powered by OpenMRS. So OpenMRS, as you all know, is the open source software that we use on a daily basis. To give you some background on why we need 3.x is just to enable us to collaborate effectively. Apart from that, we also needed to make the system more configurable so that if you have changes to be made, they are easily made. You could also be able to customize our system to meet our specific needs. So given that we are a diverse facility, some are small, some are big, there may be some small changes that you'd have to work around if you're a small facility that really work well for the big facilities. Apart from that, there's also the motivation to move to newer technologies and a focus to move towards point of care to deliver EMR. So as a result of that, we want to give the clinician, the nurses, the guys at the lab, everybody who interacts with the EMR a better user experience and try as much as possible to have a good experience while interacting with the system. So as a value proposition for moving to 3.x or KenyaEMR 3.x, so you may hear me referring to it as O3. You might have somebody refer it as KenyaEMR 3.x. Some people will call it OpenMRS 3.x. So this 3.x doesn't really move us away from OpenMRS. So it is just but an additional front end that will enable you to work better. So what are the is this UI that we are talking about that we are trying also to modernize with 3.x? So I'm going to share some few slides just to highlight some of the changes we've done. So from the old UI, we have the new login page looking at like that. So we are trying to modernize our look and feel for the EMR. So that will be our login page. So this is our patient chart, the summary. As you can be able to see, we are focusing more on the point of care. You could be able to see we have a navigation button on the side that provides some more context information about a patient. So from here, you're able to do a lot of things for the patient. So if it's recording forms, you're able to do it seamlessly. You don't have to do a lot of clicks. If you do order drugs, you're able to order it. So we have drug orders, lab orders. Again, you're also having a very good lab results panel showing you there with the reference ranges. You're able also at a glance to see the if there are any flags. You're able to see like the latest vitals. And basically just to trying to improve the user experience. That is like the landing page. So this is something that we're also working on, the pharmacy module, just to enable you to dispense these drugs. And once the order have been given, then the guy at the pharmacy is able to interact with that. We're also bringing in the aspect of clinical appointments. So we want to centralize how we're handling our appointments so that they all exist in one place. So it may not be possible in 2x. You have to deal with appointments on an individual basis. That is, you have to dig it from a patient, but this one will try and consolidate it here. So as part of the buy-in or KenyaEMR 3.x, it has been optimized for point of care. So we are trying to improve the UI to be modern and to also match whatever is happening in the world. As I've mentioned, the flexibility and configuration. So you're able to configure the system to meet your specific needs by just changing some files. You don't have to know how to write code to do that. So if you're somebody, a partner, and you want to have like a little bit of customization, some configuration, you're able to do that. Another good thing about 3.x is the forms. So they are powered by JSON. That means that if you have any unique forms you want to develop per facility, but is not provided through the main partner or from us, you can be able to do it. Support for drug and lab orders, curated test results view with the reference range. So those are just highlights. There's so much more to it, but I think it's just to point out some of the highlights. So far, we've developed or the key services that or the modules we've developed on 3x that we feel would be good. The clinical appointments, the service queues, just to enable you to manage queues in your facility. You have the pharmacy module that supporting dispensing. So apart from that, we have the additional for lab and drug orders and test results. That is just to give us a highlight of what KenyaEMR 3.x will be offering, in addition to whatever we have on 2x. So with that, you'll still be able to interact with the old UI, but the intention is to gradually migrate everybody here. So I think that, Otieno, I'll stop there. Maybe if there are any questions, I'll be responding to them.
Thank you very much, Donald, for that introduction. I think that gives us kind of a background on the OpenMRS 3.x. So without much ado, I think we just need to get to the walkthrough led by our facilitator, Kote Cosmos, who will be taking us through the interface and different navigational features. Should you have any questions around the introductory slides that have been presented by Donald? please use the chat box. We'll be able to respond to them. Thank you very much. I'll hand it over to you, Cosmos.
Salama.
Thank you, Tiana. Thank you, Donald. And good afternoon to everyone. So I'll be taking you through the quick walkthrough in terms of the 3.0 or 3.x or 3.x, as long as you know there's an X and a 3. Basically, this will be the new platform that we'll be interacting with. Again, it's more of the look and the feel, but also there's some few things that Donald also has mentioned, just to be able to make the system quite responsive, quite fast, quite efficient in terms of also the requests and changes that will be coming in. So at first, this is the login page. Of course, you can also still be able to interact with it through this particular URL that you see I've highlighted at the very top. Once you got there, of course, you'll be brought to this page where, of course, you'll use your username and password to be able to log in. So on a successful login, so there's a place that has gone really fast, but it will just ask you for the location exactly where you are in the facility for you to continue. So, but on a successful login, you should be able to see this as your landing page. So let me try to make this a little bit bigger so that you can see it. This will be your landing page, where, of course, at the very top there is the navigational top bar. You'll have the ability here to be able to do search, where you can search for a patient who's already existing. You have here implementers tool, and this is mainly just to be able to make some changes if you need to in terms of the system itself. Then there's the ability here to be able to add a new patient. So if it's a new patient who has just walked in, you have ability to be able to use this, and I'll be able to take us through quickly on that one. Then we have also here where if you click, it's just your profile to tell you the person who has logged in. Then of course the language, which is English by default, and especially where exactly they have been logged in. So you can also do a change in terms of the location, but for now I'll just focus on walking you through that. Then of course we have the app menu, which will give you just in terms of the system information. The KenyaEMR home here will take you to the 2.x, which I want to show that system administration, where you'll see some other modules. Then of course you can reload and clear cache, and then the dispensing bit, which is on the pharmacy. So I'll take us through on that one. On the left side of the navigation bar, for you, you will see the home, which is where we are automatically. We'll see the appointments module, and we'll see the service queues. So let me just assume that it's a new client that has walked into your facility. The first thing will be for us to do the registration. So when I click on the button for add patient, it will bring me to this form. So again, it's the look and the feel, but in terms of the variables and the data that were being captured in the previous in 2.x registration form will be similar. So you'll realize it will ask you for the client, the verification process that we were doing through the client registry. But of course, you can be able to select the kind of identifier you want to choose. Then, of course, you can be able to come and just do a validation by clicking validate. If it will find them again similar, you can be able to use the values and be able to continue and registering this patient. So it will ask you for information, of course, about if they have any of these identifiers like driving license, but we use the national ID, so that's what will be captured. Of course, if they already existed within the CR, the client registry, we will see their NUPI number also appearing there. Then, of course, the address also, given that it's already also picking from the CR, will come already pre-populated. You can also add an additional phone number if they have. Of course, anything that is saying optional, it means you don't really need to actually put that information. Then if you capture all that, you can still also come here and just add now a couple of things that also you realize there's a bit of change in terms of adding relationships. So you can also add relationships actually while you're registering the client. So you can come add a relationship. And if the relationship is already within the facility, and they're already in care within the KenyaEMR, we can of course come and look for them and basically pick that, and they will be able to be added as a relationship to the client. So you can say whether their spouse, for example, or a partner. So you can add as many relationships as possible by just clicking the add relationship tab that you see there at the bottom there. Also, you can just delete them if you don't need them. And if the patient has a relationship who's not in care, again, we have now this next of kin form that you can be able to capture that next of kin. So you can be able to just capture the information and capture what kind of relationship do they have, what's their phone number, and their postal address. Once all that information has been populated, for the ones that are mandatory field, now you can be able to just go ahead and now register the client, and then from there, the system will be able to now continue. So I won't do the registration process. I just wanted to show you how the form looks like. I'll just dive into now a client who's already in the system. So if we go back to the KenyaEMR home, the 3.x home, so let me discard that. Again, it will take us to this landing page. And on this landing page, what you realize also there is already what we call the active visits list, where it will just show you the clients who have already been, who have come already into the facility. So it will give you their visit time, their ID number, their name, gender, age, and the visit type. Then if you realize there's an arrow, there's a down arrow, which by clicking on it, it will be able to give you some few more details about the client, all right? So it can tell you the client is a patient, the time that they came into, and of course, all the encounters that they've had. So the encounters could be they've only just done HIV, like this one, they've done HIV discontinuation form. If you click on it, of course, it can be able to give you some more further details that were captured within that encounter. So the treatment end date, and of course, the reason why that like discontinuation has happened for that program. Again, if you click on this tab for visit summary, you can now be able to see if there were any notes that were done for this client and any diagnoses that also were captured on this client. You can also be able to click on the tests and see if there were any tests that were done. Also, you can click on medication and just see if there were any medications that were captured in their visit summary. So this is just to see at a snapshot all the clients who are currently active within the facility and receiving services within that facility. Then if we can be able to probably now jump into now, let's say, the appointment module. The appointment module, again, here, it's a new, I'll say it's a new feature. We didn't have that when we had 2.x. The appointment module is something that has come newly with 3.x. And again, here we just were trying to really ensure that we can be able to cover as much ground as possible for all the feedback we got in terms of how can we have an appointment module within the EMR that can be able to support the work of capturing upcoming appointments, scheduling, checking them in and everything. So the appointment module basically has this this interface where, of course, at the very top, we can see is to be able to give you the name of the facility, of course, the date, which you can be able to play around with. It's a calendar date. If you click that and probably take it a little bit back, you can be able to see historical appointments also that were done within the facility, if there are any. You can also be able to go, of course, way ahead and see if there are any appointments done. But that one, you can be able to do it through the appointments calendar, which I'll be able to showcase. But for today, this view will only just focus on today's view and just see what we have there. So once I picked today, as you can realize, I'll be able to see some cards here. So before going to the cards, we have a view here where I can be able to select the type of specific appointment that I want to view clients from. So if there are clients who just came for drug refill for today. If I click on that, if I had any patients under the drug refill appointment type, I will be able to see all of them here as scheduled. So if I click on all, of course, it will pick everyone, irrespective of whether they came for consultation, lab test. So this filter allows you just to be able to filter specific things that maybe you would like to be able to see through the appointment module. So let me just quickly get into the other features within this appointment module. We have also the scheduled appointments, and these are the cards now, where what I was talking about. It can be able to give you the scheduled appointments, about 6 of them, and then it can be able to give you the ones who have honored. So honored means that they have actually come to the facility and they received the services, the service that they were actually coming for. Not arrived, it means that they've not come into the facility, so they've not been checked into our queue system, which I'll be able to take you through. So they are not yet into the facility, so to be able to give you that breakdown. And of course, we can be able to give you by high volume service. So we can see by high volume service HIV consultation as type of an appointment has more clients who are coming in. Then of course, it can be able to give you the number of available providers that have actually logged into a facility to be able to assist on today's workload. So if we go a little bit below, we can see some line lists here. And the line list, again, like I've said, it will be able to just give you a breakdown. We'll be able to see scheduled and unscheduled. So of course, unscheduled, of course, these are walk-in clients. They were not expected, but they just came into the facility for one or the other reason. So you'll be able to see that. Again, also realize you can be able to download this particular unscheduled appointments for today and be able to do further analysis. If maybe you need to report on that, you can actually be able to send it as a report. Under the schedule, if you realize we have a couple of other various tabs, we have the honored tab. Again, honored means that they've come into the facility and they're receiving the services that they came in for their specific appointment.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. Like here, with issues with electricity and apologize for that. But I'm back. Please confirm that I'm back.
Cosmos, you are breaking. It could be your internet. You may want to check it.
Am I back?
Yeah, your network is breaking.
Oh, I apologize. I tweeted it for a minute. So just give me a few minutes to internet stabilize.
Atieno, in the meantime, can you take, there's a question that has been up for a very long time. Please, can you take that question? Probably, please, if it's a question.
Okay. All right. John, you may proceed and ask the question.
Oh, there's a question coming up, or I can continue.
There is a hand from John. Maybe it's a legacy hand. Let me just put it down so that you can continue.
Okay. Right. So I was explaining the tabs and the schedule where we have honored, arrived, and came early.
Cosmos,
I think
kindly
I
share your
reached
screen.
on the.
Kindly share your screen.
Let me reshare and share. Let me reshare that again. Is my screen up?
Yes, okay, it's up.
Yeah. So as I was saying, I think I'd already explained one. These are people already who came to the facility. They have been checked in and they received the services that they were supposed to receive on the material day of their appointment. Not arrived, it means that they are not yet come into the facility. So of course the list will be provided. And again, like I've said, there's the ability to be able to just click on download and you can be able to download that list. Also, came early here just shows you in terms of clients who were meant to come maybe a week later or 2 days later or 3 days later, but they came in a little bit early for a specific service, and now that service was checked against that. So I will be able to try and show that as we continue on how that usually happens. So under each, of course, these actions you can be able to do. For not arrived, you can do some follow-up in case maybe you need to do follow-up and find out where the client is, and you can document that. For came early, of course, this is the only actions you have here is you can either check them out and just finish that video move. So that is just an overview in terms of appointment for this tab. Then if you look at the very top that I occasionally skipped, we have the appointment calendar and we have the create new appointments. An appointment calendar, here we can be able to see a breakdown of all the appointments by month, weekly, and daily. So if I was to click on daily, it will just give me in terms of now for today's, the whole list, how many were expected total. And you can be able to see it, give you a breakdown by the type of appointment they're coming in for. So they're coming for a PrEP, they're coming in for antenatal HIV consultation. You can be able to see that. Then by week, you can basically see for the whole week. And here you can be able to see just so breakdown and can be able to give you by each type for. Then of course by month you can be able to see for the whole month. And here, of course, you can now manage to go forward. So here I can go all the way to October and just see how my workload usually will basically look like. So by clicking on total or even any of this, maybe if I want to check on MCH and when I click on that, should be loading for me some clients. So mainly what will I think either my connection is a bit slow, but it will just be able to load for me all the clients that are supposed to come for that day by their names. So I can be able to see them by their names and of course their unique identifier. And I can make some follow-up if need be, in case maybe there's a change from the client. Then of course we can see here the ability to add a new clinic day. So this is mainly used in case you want to add a new clinic day. Let's say, for example, there's a drive for, let's say, for example, like polio for all the mothers who are HIV exposed, for example. You can actually come in and just use this feature for that specific. So let me go back and now also show you the part of creating a new appointment. So here I can, by clicking on create new appointment, it can be able to now take me through the process of creating a new appointment. So the first thing will be to choose a search for a client. So let's say, for example, I can say test. Let's see if we have a client that is called test. Okay. So it will be able to give me that specific client. Then, of course, by clicking on that specific client, I'm able to now see some very high level information about the client. And of course, this is just some few biodata information. It will give me, of course, the age of the client, their sex. It will also be able to give me other details, like in terms of just address, contact details, any relationships they have. Again, it will be just mainly some high-level biodata for this client, so that I can differentiate a client. Maybe they are using the same name, but it will just be high-level information so that I can differentiate them. Then, of course, it will be able to give me select where the appointment will take place. Will it be at community level, or will it be at the facility level? So if you see the facility level is already picked automatically, then I can be able to say exactly where that service they will receive. So I can say they will be receiving this service, maybe lab test. Then I can be able to see whether it's an all-day appointment or it's just going to be a couple of hours. So I can change that and just say the date that they will be coming for this will be sometime, maybe let's say in November. Then I can be able to say the time that actually I'm expecting them to come. So maybe they will be coming in at about, so we can change here to morning and come and probably say sorry for that. So you can change the time, of course, to suit you, either morning or evening, for whatever the client's suitability in terms of time will be. So you can come and do that, and of course now choose the specific time. So here, what it will show you, what you're seeing here, it will be able to show you in the specific day that you've chosen, which is the 1st of November, how many patients are you expecting within that day. As you can see, the workload, we have 0. So we have no number of patients that we expect in that. So this gives you just also a way from a facility level on how to manage well in terms of your appointment scheduling for your clients. So you don't overload a specific day while maybe another day you do not have even any clients. So this just gives you a snap view here. You can be able to see that. And if you click by month, of course, it can be able to also give you a breakdown again, just by month, and see the days that you have no workload in terms of the number of patients that are coming in. So once you've done that, of course, this is scheduled. Of course, it will be able to pick the provider automatically. Then as you realize, we have, would you like to get a reminder about this appointment? So this is the same functionality maybe that we currently are using within the green card, where of course, when you set an appointment, a clinical appointment, he'll ask you whether you would like to ask the client if they want to receive an SMS. So again, you can be able to choose yes or no, and be able to now save that. So once you're able to save this information, then the appointment has been scheduled for that specific plan. And if we want to go to appointment calendar again and just check on that day, we can be able to see that the appointment has been done, and we will have it within the date that we had chosen. So that is the appointment calendar and how to create an appointment from the appointment calendar in a snapshot. You can still be able to, of course, create appointments within the various forms, and I'll be able to show that for the forms that are picking next date of appointment. It will still be able to pick that, but this is from just centrally using the appointment module. You can be able to actually do that. Then, of course, also at the same time, for anyone who has been scheduled to come in, you can also be able to check the clients in from here. Mainly by just clicking on the check-in button, and of course you can be able to come and check them in. So I wanted to show for the came early how that works. So let me see if I can be able to get a client who is supposed to come in sometime later. If this will work. Okay, so let's do this. The client that I've actually created, I can try to check them in a little bit early, see what happens. So I'll come by just trying to search for that client while I'm here. think those tests, yes. So this is just, I want to show the purpose of trying to check in a client early and how that will look like. So we had put this appointment for this client to come in on the 1st of November. So by searching for them and finding them and clicking on them, if you realize it has brought us their client summary or the patient summary. So the chart itself, so where we can be able to see, of course, the previous information in terms of vitals, the care panel, where they currently are enrolled in terms of specific services. Maybe they have been enrolled into HIV. If they are enrolled into TB and any other program, basically we'll be able to see that. Then, of course, we can be able to see if there are any conditions that have been basically documented under this plan, and if there are any medications also, they've been also documented under this plan. And of course, here also it will provide you other care programs that you can also enroll them in. So upon clicking on check-in here at the very top, I'll come and talk about the left side panel later. But upon clicking on the check-in, what you realize is on the check-in, once I clicked on it, it will bring you this form where you can be able to start a visit. Then if you realize there are upcoming appointments, right? So the upcoming appointment to be able to give you the specific appointment that maybe you want to check in early for this client. So if maybe the client was meant to come on the 1st of November for the lab test, but they, unfortunately, for one of the other reason, they came in a little bit early, you can actually be able to now just check this and say that this client is, I'm checking them in for today for this appointment that they're coming in today. Other than wait until 1st of November, we'll just check them in and say that that is actually what the appointment that they're honoring. So that means that now they won't become defaulters if 1st of November comes, because now you had already checked them in and said that they came specifically for the lab test appointment that was going to happen in November. So that's how the functionality works. So once you've checked them in and be able to click on the check-in button, basically now they'll be moved to now the part of now the queues for them to now start the services that they're supposed to. So that's how they came early, and I want to just go back there so that you don't miss it. That's how the clients who now come, who appeared here or came early, usually will work. It's now just by checking in the specific appointment that client was supposed to come in the future, and seeing that this client has come in a bit early by doing so. So that is just on the appointment module. We'll go back to the patient chart and really go in depth into it. I just wanted to show first of all the various modules. Then of course there's now the service queues, which again it's a new feature, is a new functionality. It's not in 2.x, so this is in 3.x. So the service queues allows just for you to be able to see all the patients who are in queue and waiting for a specific service. On this home page for the service queues, we have some various tabs. As you can see at the very top, you can be able to see the facility, the location. So this will be more of the location other than the name of the facility. So it will be more of the location. So if maybe you want to see only the clients who are in CCC or MCH or laboratory or pharmacy or HTS who are queuing for that service, you can just be able to click on that and be able to see that. By clicking on the facility, it will just give you overall every service queue that is available and where the patients have been queued to get the service in. Then, of course, underneath it, you'll be able to see some few buttons where you can be able to add new services. You can be able to also add new service rooms. And of course, here you can be able to see the queue screen. So the queue screen basically just allows you to be able to see the queues, the queue tickets for each and every patient. Maybe they came in, they were given a specific queue number. So it will be able to just give you that. And of course, when a patient is being called, it will be able to highlight for you exactly where the patient then needed to go to the next room. So that is just the queue screen here, and mainly that will work if you have a very big facility that has quite a number of patients, and also you have a screen to be able to highlight, to display that to the patients who are waiting in the waiting room. Then underneath that, we have a couple of cards here. So to be able to give you the number of checked-in patients, 5 of them, to be able to give you those ones who are waiting. So if you realize the checked-in are 5, but those who are in queue waiting are actually just 1 patient. And to be able to also give you in terms of what is the average time that they basically waited for today for each patient. So averagely to be able to just to take the waiting time and give you an average. Then of course, beneath that, you'll be able to see also the add patient to queue. So this is a button just to be able to add a patient to queue. So let's say, for example, I can come here and just search for, let's say, Mary. Okay. So we can check, we can pick any Mary here that we would like to add them to the queue. Just by doing so, then clicking on the, to be able to bring us to the start visit form again. So you can see there are no any upcoming appointments for Mary. You can be able to see, it will ask you the queue location and what service do you want to send Mary for. So let's say, for example, if Mary just came, you can be able to, of course, give them the priority. If maybe they had an emergency, you can just say this is an emergency case. And what will happen is that now Mary, once you've checked them in and go to the queue, service queues, you'll be able to see that now Mary has gone ahead of any other person because their case is emergency. And of course, you'll see the priority here will mainly mean it's an emergency for this specific patient. Then, of course, there is the down arrow, which gives you the ability just to see some information about this patient. You can be able to quickly interact. So let's say, for example, you're viewing the queue as a clinician, you can quickly just interact with some of these triage form, vital forms by just clicking on them, and to be able to take you directly to that. Then, of course, you can see any previous visit details that were captured. If there are any vitals, you'll be able to see. If there are any notes on med, also you'll be able to see. Same also, if there are any medications, also you'll be able to see. At the same time, if you realize, you'll see in terms of now the waiting time, just beside it, there is this button for call. If you realize this, so when you click on call, what mainly it means is just for you, it's you want to serve Mary. So you just click on, you want to serve Mary, and Mary will be able to be called to specifically to come and receive their services within the triage room. So you're calling actually Mary, and that's this call button is what basically will highlight on the screen. You remember the queue screen I talked about? Will highlight for the Mary that her number is being called and she needs to go to the triage room by just clicking on this button. So this button will appear for the clinician, for the triage nurse, for the pharmacist. So anywhere the queue services is being used, basically by just using the call button, you basically are able to call the patient. And if you have a TV screen that is showing the queue screen, they can easily just identify they are being called and they can walk into that specific room. So that is mainly on the service queues. So I'll stop there and jump just back into now the patient, and how you can interact with the patient in terms of giving them the various services that they came in for. So that is through the forms. How can you submit a form? How can you enroll a patient into a program? So I'll just want to jump into that. But before that, maybe I can stop there maybe for just a few questions on the 2 modules before we can get into the other part.
Thank you, Cosmos. Yeah, I think that's a much needed break so that we can give the participant a chance to ask questions before we really delve deeper. So at this point, I'll just call on any participant with a question to raise their hand so that we can give you the mic to verbalize your question on what has been shown so far. I'm looking anywhere for a hand. Though meanwhile, as you are presenting, there were some questions on the chat box. One of the questions around the whether it was possible to download the unscheduled client in the line list, which I think has been responded to. That is very possible. Then there is a suggestion from a guy called Kamuti, who is suggesting that you need to include some buttons there, just like they are on the current version of KenyaEMR, where you are able to view the registry information. Yeah, so that's a suggestion. It's all there in the chat box. Yeah, so keep them coming. We'll be able to respond to them on the fly. So I don't see a hand unless someone has put the hand down. Okay, I'm seeing a hand from Imali, and it's gone again. All right, so Imali, you can proceed and ask the question. Just unmute yourself and ask the question.
Hello, Bernard, hope you can get me.
Yes, I can get you. Please
Okay,
say your name and ask the question.
Okay, I'm Joel from Emali. Joel from Emali. Mine was a concern on appointment module. For Emali, we have been piloting the Readotex. So my concern was the DC clients. What we have seen is that if you book a patient for a drug, that's the name for that patient will duplicate 2 or 3 times for the refill date, but the consultation clinic visits, there is no duplication. So if that one can be rectified from your end, I think will be sorted. Then the other thing was on the same on appointment module. If you could add gender, whereby we can have sex for the client, male or female, on top of what we have on Readotex. We'll appreciate.
Thank you very much, Joel. That's very well noted, and I think we'll look into that. There is another hand. No, there isn't. Yeah, from Priva John.
Yes.
Please unmute and proceed.
Okay. My concern was about the bookings on differentiated care and patient relationships. Question number 1: if you can include this, you can separate the this. You know, we only have like facility, we have standard, we have peer-led. If we can expand and include things like courier patients, pickup centers patients, because those things are being recommended by the NASCOP guideline. And then another question is about relationship to a patient. If you compare the 3.2 version and the the one that we are discussing now, you realize that it's easier to see the relationship of these clients on 2.x than on 3.x. Like you cannot see a hair quickly on this version versus the older one that we want to move away from. We cannot see as another, maybe a husband to this person who is in the clinic easily on this version compared to the older version that we're about to move away from. So kindly please, if you can make it easier for us to have, to at least think of using this 3.x module more than 2.x, because actually, as you have been updating it, you realize that you are updating the 2.x more than the 3.x. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John, for the comments and also for the recommendations. We've noted your recommendation from the patient relationships. You'd like it to mimic what we have in the current 2.x version. So that has been noted. And also your suggestions on the DSD, patients that are on DSD model, you'd like to include other modes like Curie and the rest. So that I think has also been noted. So I think towards the end, we'll also make comments on the same. Thank you very much. So at this point, I think I need to just go back to our facilitator to continue. So Cosmas, can proceed.
Right. Thank you, Tiano. So maybe just a quick feedback just from picking up from what the earlier person who just was asking the questions about where to find the relative. So I think we can give more feedback in terms of where maybe best to put it. Currently, it's within the patient chart. Once you open the patient chart and show details for this patient chart, you can be able to see if there are any relationships that were documented for that specific patient. But again, feel free to give us feedback in terms of maybe where best to put it so that it becomes easily identifiable and seen by anyone. So here I wanted to just go through like now a specific patient. So maybe I can be able to just speak patient here. Let me just search for a patient. I can just quickly keep this one. This is the part of now just searching for patients who's already existing in the been coming for a visit or just walked in for one or two other reasons. So the moment you click on them, so what you realize, this is what now is talking about the patient chat to give you about John Akesa. So to give you a male 24 years of age, the date of birth, then of course under actions you can be able to check in, or you can mark them as disease, or you can edit their patient details. So here now it provides you also to add other relationships that you wish to add under John was here. Then of course under show details, once you click on it, it will be able to just now give you more information about the address, any contact details they have, any relationships that they have, and if the relationships also attain to patients within the facility. So relationships here to be able to give you the next of kin. Patient list is just now for anyone that is related to them within the relationships. So under that also you can be able to click on record vitals, so which can basically take you directly to a trial form. But if we were to move this side of now the left side of your screen, which is the left navigational bar on your side, you'll be able to see some other information where to be able to ask you for vitals and biometrics. So you can click on it and you can check if there are any vitals and biometrics that were captured for John Wasike. Medications also to be able to test social GV. If there are any medications that also basically done for John Wasike, then also test results, if there are any that were done for this specific patient. You can be able to see that. And again, also to be able to give you the ability to print, you can also be able to see if there are any tests that were done under this John Wasike. Then there is the visits page, which will give you the summaries, the visit back summary. And also by just clicking on all encounters, you can be able to see all the encounters that John has had, and I'll be able to showcase these through just fill in a few forms, and you can see how that works. Then, of course, you can capture also the allergies that maybe John has, any conditions that also John has. You can also be able to do any attachments, programs that John has been involved to, if any. Then the care panel will just give you a summary of all the information about John, which will provide you the ability to be able to print it out and save that. If maybe John is being transferred out, this comes in handy in terms of just basically doing that and printing them out. Then, of course, the appointment is just mainly the appointment module. Then, of course, that will be pretty much it. I'll stop at that. So if the chart is mainly the shared health record, but I won't really get into that for today. I'll just try to get us into how you are able to interact with the various programs and the various forms within 3.x. So if you realize I skipped this side, which is the fab right bar, where if I was to just hover with my mouse, I will see it's highlighting notifications. Then here it's highlighting forms. So what we did is just to be able to take the same forms you're interacting with in 2.x and just convert them for you to be able to also still interact with them on 3.x. So by clicking on the form bit, of course, if you've not checked in the patient, that is the first thing it will check, that you need to start a new visit for the patient. So I'll just click on start new visit. Then, of course, I can go through the process by just declaring John is not an urgent. So I'll just check them in. So once I've checked them in, so here changes from check-in to checkout. Then, of course, now I can start interacting with the forms. So clicking on there, currently we've just made sure that you can see all the forms, but of course, going forward with the feedback that you're giving us, we are also expecting to be able to just now filter the forms to be according to the program that the client has been enrolled to, so that you're not seeing everything at the same time. So here you can be able to basically just go through this very quickly, choose whichever form that maybe you want to interact with the patient with. So let's say, for example, the shortest form I can probably be able to do, let's say, for example, the ART preparation. I can be able to see it. And again, there's no logic. That's what I'm saying. You can just see all the forms currently here. But of course, we expecting ART preparation comes in if you've managed to be able to, of course, taken the clients through HTS consultation and everything. So I've just picked this quickly so that we don't have to go through the longer forms of HTS eligibility screening and HTS initial before we can get them here. But you basically, you can figure out how the journey basically works. It will still apply the same. So currently we just allowed all the forms for the purpose of testing and ensuring that actually we are capturing these forms and the details well. So here I can be able to capture the details on the airchip preparation. If you see here, I can be able to maximize this form and make it as big as possible if I need to. If not, I can just still let it remain on my left side panel of my screen, while I can still be able to see the details of John on the left side of my screen. So that makes it also very easy. You can just still continue to see information about John here while you're entering the information, which makes it very dynamic, and you're able to really make some appropriate decisions while you're doing that. So I'll just do some dummy here quickly just for the sake of filling up this form, and we can be able to see how that appears in terms of interacting with forms. So I'm not really looking at the logic. I'm just speaking everything quickly so that we can save this and we see how that works. So upon filling all the questions, it should just be able to save successfully, and that has been saved with an encounter. So if again I was to go back to the visit and go under all encounters, if you realize now we have the NFT preparation, a form encounter here, and it will be able to show which provider basically did that in terms of answering this information. And of course, I can be able to still go ahead and edit. If there are some mistakes that were done, I can mainly come here and make those changes. So if there was a no that was skipped, I can come here, make that change, and basically come again and save that information. So it gives you the ability from the visits, you can be able to basically edit any encounters that have been done for a patient for that specific day. So you can make some changes. Even for the previous one, you can be able to just make some couple of changes if maybe the data that was entered was wrongly entered. Again, also at the same time, you can also be able to delete that encounter if maybe the information you captured, all of it was wrong, you want to discard it. It's the same thing that also in 2.2.x we had, where you can discard all the information and delete the encounter all the same. So you can be able to do that. Then, of course, at the same time, I can come still and interact with the triage form, for example. So by just typing in triage, I can come here and just also interact with it and be able to capture some triage information about this plant. So I can come here and just say maybe the temperature is 39, can do 120 over 80. I can, so this I will do, so this will be about 65, let's say, for example. Here we'll do 120, here we'll do 80. Respiratory rate, let's just say it's about 78% there. Oxygen saturation, I can say it's about 98%. Then I can come here and put weight. So let's say, for example, this person is about 78 kilos, they're about 170 in kgs, in height, sorry, and you can see BMI will come automatically calculated. Then if you realize the nutritional status also will already come also auto-populated, where now we can see that this client is an overweight. So if I was to play around with the weight, maybe give them 178, again, the nutritional status will change according to their height or according to the weight that you entered. Once I've entered all that information and I'm okay with that, I can all of this for that. So you're able to save the information for the form, and of course now that will come as a recorded vital. So I think I'm experiencing some issues on my end with connectivity, but maybe you can be able to save the forms, you can interact with them and save that as quickly as possible. So that is on the part of interacting with forms. So there's the part of now programs enrollment, where now you can be able to enroll the client in various programs. So by clicking on record program enrollment, I can come here and choose which program would I like to actually enroll this client to. So I can say I want to enroll them into the HIV program, and I can give the dates enrolled. Of course, enrollment location will just be to the facility that they have been enrolled to. So once I've done that, the patient has been enrolled into the HIV program, but now there's a bit of now the enrollment bit of HIV, which is now the enrollment HIV form, which of course will be able to also fill it up. So if I was to go here, I can interact with it two ways. I can interact with it from here, where I can be able to choose and search for HIV enrollment, right? And be able to fill it up, of course, and do that and save that by entering all the information that is needed. Again, also at the same time, by clicking on discontinue, if you realize now it will just change from enrollment, and now I can get the discontinued form where, sorry for that. where if I was to click on discontinue to be able to give me the discontinue form, since I'm having some challenges, I apologize. So let me discard this. Discard this, click on discontinue. So on this, clicking on discontinue, I'll be able to see the HIV discontinue form, which of course will discontinue the client from the program that they were enrolled into. So within the care programs, I have two ways. I can enroll them from here, the programs, or I can enroll them from here within the care program. So if I was to click on, let's say, for example, TB, enroll, let me just discard this and click on enroll. On clicking on enroll, you'll see the TB enrollment form will become available for me to just enter this information. I can be able to enter the data that is needful. I can say today, the date that was referred, I can say today, method of enrollment, and say maybe they came in through, let's say, that, for example, no, it's a male, they may be a bit considerate. I can say CCC, then I can enter the information about the patient address, maybe the Mombasa guys. I can enter the telephone number. Okay, then I can be able to enter this full address. I can enter the body weight in kgs, the start, height. Also, I can enter that. Then I can enter the treatment support information. So if there anything that maybe it's a mandatory and I have not really checked, again, the system will be able to flag for me and tell me that this particular thing is a particular variable is mandatory and I need to fill it up. So if the forms, the way they were into the X, that's how basically also the same logic, the same validations also have been done in the 3.x. So if there's anything wrong, of course, to be able to raise that an alert, and I need to be able to, of course, make the change to that specific issue that the form basically has raised. So you're able to do that, then of course you can be able to go again and try and save the form again. So there are various ways you can be able to enroll again a patient. So I've shown you, you can be able to enroll them from here, or you can be able to enroll them using the care panel and a patient summary, where you can be able to see all the care programs that are available for this patient. And of course, you can be able to add them in those programs. So that's how currently, in terms of interacting patients with form, currently we've done, where you can enter as many forms for all the encounters that the patient has come for, or for the specific programs, which of course, like I've said, those will be the considerations that will go forward. So there's the bit here that I skipped, which is now like a cart, where it's highlighting for medications. So under this card, when you click on it, it will open for you a side panel where you can actually be able to add lab orders, or you can be able to add drug orders. So I'll start with the drug orders by clicking on add drug. I can come here and just search for a drug. So we've added the list of drugs that are available. Of course, this is something that we are still improving. So if there's something that is missing while also you're doing that, you can be able to let us know. But I can just pick that specific and be able to say what the dosage is, and be able to, of course, capture information about this. Will they be taking it orally? Will they be maybe taking it through injections? So I can be able to specifically say that, and what will be the frequency, or will it be twice daily, once daily? You can be able to do that, then give more further instructions. Maybe say only to be taken after full meal, for example. I can do that. Then, of course, I can check in terms of the prescription duration. When is the start date? How long is it supposed to last? So maybe it's supposed to say for 20 days for this one. I can be able to do that. Then the dispensing instructions in terms of the pharmacy. What is the quantity of this should they be able to give out? I can be able to, of course, specify that and give it out, for example. Then, of course, also I can be able to say how many refills should they be able to have here. So maybe it's just one. Then, of course, I can indicate maybe any other information maybe that will support the dispensing of this. So once I've captured all this information, I can be able to click on Save Order. This is mandatory. So let's say, I'll just give an example, diabetes, that I can save the order. So you'll see the order will appear here. Then I'll show you how now the process of dispensing that order basically will look like. So that is the part of drug order. So I'll put it there, then I'll take you to the dispensing once I'm also done with the lab order. So also for the lab order, it's just by clicking on Add. And by clicking on Add, still loading this part. Okay, so I can come here and search for a specific test that they're coming for. Let's see. So maybe they're coming for sputum for something. I can be able to do that. Then, of course, give a reference ID for that specific lab test. Then I can say what the priority is, whether it's a routine one or is for starting the medication. I can be able to do that, and of course give any further additional instructions for this. Then of course I can save the order for that, and of course now you'll be able to see also the lab order appearing there under the order basket. So if you realize the order basket now will highlight the number of things that are in there in terms of the services that this client will be receiving. There will be two, and that's because we have a lab order and also we have a drug order. So in terms of now navigating towards now dispensing for the drug order, currently this is how it will go through. You just go to this panel where you'll be able to see the part where I was talking about dispensing. So by clicking on dispensing, it will be able to give me all the active prescriptions that have basically been sent. So I can search here by patient name. I think our patient is just confirm our patient, John Wasike. And so, then okay. So, okay, you seem to not find my patient, but mainly once that you've managed to be able to give the specific prescription to this patient, when you come to the dispensing part, you'll be able to see the order, you'll be able to see when it was created, and the details about that order. And of course, you can be able to now do the prescription. So this is cancelled. That's where you can see screen cancelled. But if it comes as a new fresh order, I'll be able to just click on force dispense. I'll be able to just start a specific drug for this specific patient. So that's mainly how currently this works in terms of just the pharmacy, and it's still in the process of being refined. So please feel free to give us more information and more feedback on the same, so that we can, of course, continually improve it. But I'll stop there and hand it back over to Otieno. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cosmas, for that. So I think I'll just proceed and open it up again for any queries. Before I go to the questions, let me just check the chat box if there is anything that could be responded to. Okay. So there's a question asking under the drug orders and prescriptions, are we able to post directly to ADT? Please note that that is coming from Kamuti. Then we have another one, which is more of a feedback, asking us to consider flagging patients due for things like cancer screening, viral load, and client with NCDs that should appear on the patient's homepage. And he's also suggesting that we need to add the progress note section to pop up on the homepage. Yeah, so I think those are very good. Those are very good comments and suggestions. We have taken note of the same. John Kamau is asking the question again. Does this change? Okay, does this changes affect HTS part? So I think what John is trying to ask is whether the change that we have on 3.x changes the HTS part. Yeah, so I think Cosmas, you may just respond to that, then we go to the live question.
Okay, no, sorry. Do you mind repeating that again? Sorry. I was on the move. I think my internet dropped.
No worries. Yeah, I think either you or Donald can take up the question. So the first one is whether for drug orders and prescriptions, if we are able to post them directly to ADT.
Donald, do you want to take that up?
Okay, sure. Sorry, I was looking for the unmute button. Yeah, thank you for that. At the moment, it's still work in progress. We haven't done the integration when you do the orders on 3x, but it's something that will definitely be added on top of that. So I think you also have some other guys in the call who can assist to pick up on that. Yeah, but at the moment it's not working.
Okay, yeah, so I think that is something that might be considered. So thanks for that. I hope the comments from M and D from the chat box has been noted. So I think someone is asking how this workflow affects the HTS part. is there a change in the way the users will be interacting with the HTS part in comparison to 2.x?
So I'll attempt at it, but I know also the team here will be able to support. So as I mentioned earlier, because of right now we are in the UAT phase, whatever I was showcasing, that's why you will be able to see all the forms in terms of all programs. But of course, whatever now guys are using down will be a little bit different, of course, where we're expecting the same HTS workflow that was in 2.x will also still mainly remain, where the expectation is you're starting from the HTS eligibility screening before you can get into the initial retest, and of course the linkage if the patient now has turned to be positive. But I'll allow any other person from our team if they need to add anything.
Thank you for that, Cosmas. I can see hands from Obiero as well as from Imali. So I think I'll start with Obiero. You can unmute and just ask your question.
Yes. Nasikika kweli? Kama nasikika. So my question is,
so we can proceed to Imali. I think Obiero has some challenges. So you can unmute and proceed.
Okay, Otiero, hope you can get me.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, Joel again from the Mali team. So we've been interacting with the system, the 3.x, but on HTS form, we noticed that like you can't backdate. If you backdate a client who was tested like a week ago, then you want to register that client today. Even if you change the date after you open the form on top on the right corner, and even if you backdate that date and you fill everything, that form it won't save. We noticed that after even so we had to go to 2.x to do the same, of which it worked, but for 3.x it failed to save. There is an error. Then the other thing was a request from a Mali team on those forms. We also noticed that on places whereby we have a drop down whereby there is a yes or no, if possible, it can be the same as on 2.x, whereby you were only ticking, not just opening the drop down and select. If it can be possible, you just tick like in 2.x. Okay.
Thank you very much, Joel, for those. Yeah, so I think I'll just pick those as feedback, especially on the HTS form, where you've noted that if you backdate, the form can't save. So I think our team has noted that. Then again, also your recommendation that we replace the drop downs, especially where we have yes or no. If we can replace them maybe with either checkbox or a radio button. So I think that has also been noted. And I think we'll be appreciating more feedback, more similar feedbacks, even as we go into the control deployment. so that we can improve your experiences on the 3.x. I'll give Alfanus Sobiero a chance again. Please unmute and yeah, unmute and then ask your question. Sobiero, please ask the question. All right, seems like Sobiero still have challenges, so maybe. Biro, kindly type it on the text box. Seems like your network is breaking. Type your question on the text area. So I don't know if this is an old hand from Imali or it is a new one. So Imali, you can proceed one more time.
Yes, Bernard, it's a new one. There was also another recommendation whether on 3.x we can have the system interface like as it is in 2.x, whereby if you just log in to a specific client, at a glance you'll be in a position to see this client was scheduled to come today, and the client has been booked for this number of days. And also you'll also be in a position to see whether the previous visits, how the client honored the visits. It was just a recommendation whether the 3.x can have an interface similar with that one of 2.x.
Thank you, Joel, one more time. Thanks for that. But I think from a personal experience, maybe you might want to go through it one more time. If you look at the patient profile on 3.x, I think it is way more comprehensive, way more than it is on 2.x. So maybe if you could maybe taken through how to really look at patient profile on 3.x, you'll appreciate that it contains everything that a clinician or a provider would like to know about that patient, including the previous visits, including the last appointment. Everything about that patient is displayed in one screen. So I think for that, maybe we can take you through that separately so that maybe you'll appreciate how much information is provided on the patient chart. Yeah, but the feedback is noted, and we'll also look at that. Thank you. So looking at time is almost 4. I think that was about the much time that we had. So I would really want to go to the next session, just where we make the final comments about how we go from here. So especially for the new facilities that are going to participate in this pilot, where do we go from here? What do we need to do? How long are we going to take to test the system? How are we going to channel our feedback to Palladium so that they can be addressed and stuff like that? So I want to just quickly give that session to Kezia to just talk us through that before we finally close the day. So Kezia, please.
Yeah, thanks, Tiana. I'll just be brief about this. We may not be able to discuss everything about the next steps here. So I'll just mention the plans So the first thing, having done the training here today, we expect that the sites that have been appointed to carry out the testing will be assigned, at least a site will be assigned one key module, which they're supposed to put emphasis on and provide feedback on, and that will be guided. I think your health informatic contact person from Palladium and your health informatics person from care and treatment partner, they should be able to guide on this. There will be a leeway for each site to provide details on which module they would want to focus more on. But our main goal is to ensure that we get comprehensive feedback on all the areas that are covered by KenyaEMR, and we can only achieve that with your support. So we are requesting for your support and cooperation in this. I think there will be a session where, again, we'll need all the sites to, the installations to happen. So again, the two people I mentioned from Palladium, from the SDP, they should be able to set you up and have the facilities running 3.x. So on those, I think you'll be well supported. We'll be having a team visiting some of those sites that have been again assigned to test. So you'll be seeing some of us there. For the old sites that have been, the sites that have already been using 3.x, we'll be visiting to just hear more from you, listen to you as you tell us how the experience has been and what else we can do to make the experience even more better. So we really hope that you've been documenting if there are areas you feel you need support on, so that when we come down to your facility, we would be able to help you where we can, and whatever we'll need to take back to implement, then we'll have that to take back. So expect to see some of us at your facilities, and this is all in trying to improve on the solution. Once we've started using 3.x, all of us, Valentine mentioned that today should be sharing a form with test cases on what we need to test. So for the module or the area where you'll be assigned, there will be a number of test cases that will be given to you, where you are supposed to document your feedback. So again, we request that when that is shared, you kindly comprehensively document so that we address your needs. After that, for the sites that are beginning use of 3.x, we'll also be visiting you after, like, let's say 2 to 3 weeks of using 3.x. And again, the same will be to get feedback from you. So it will be a very, let's say, a very busy month, the month of October, where we are looking forward to hear from you on all areas regarding 3.x, your experience, how we can improve it, and we are counting on the sites that have been assigned or that have been nominated to do this. So kindly, as always, you've been supportive, you've been giving us this feedback, and we are counting on you for the same. So we can only improve or meet your needs when you speak to us. So we are trying as much as possible to be available and to listen to your needs. So for us to make 3.x even more responsive to your needs, we will need you to kindly give us the feedback. So I've mentioned about like 4 items, but we'll be working closely. There is a WhatsApp group where you'll be added if you're not there already, so that you can even make this conversation like real time. If you encounter an issue, you can post on that group. You'll find prompt assistance from there. So you'll be added by your respective contact persons, and then we'll keep communicating and updating you on any changes. So I don't know, Otieno, if that would be it, or there is anything I've missed. Over.
Yeah, thank you, Kezia. I think that sounds very okay. Unless there is any comment or any additional information from our team. Okay, so silence means we are good. Yeah, so I think we have taken note of Kezia's guidance in terms of the way forward and how this activity will be driven for the month of October. Yeah, so I think from this, just to really emphasize the fact that this is the way to go. I think once we get enough feedback and the system is optimized to your satisfaction, then I think we'll be free to now totally cross over to 3.x. Yeah, so I think let's take it seriously, and we really hope that you'll enjoy interacting with the new interface and with the new workflow. So I don't think I'll have much after this. Just want to take this opportunity to really thank our facilitators, Cosmas and Donald, and all the speakers who have contributed to this, and also you, our participants for this training, who have been really been able to be with us for the entire 2 hours. So I think we thank you for your patience and also for the feedback that we've received from you. So regarding the training, this is just the thing for everyone, but after this, we'll also be organizing specific trainings that will target specific facilities based on your feedback and also based on your needs. So if you feel like you still have some gaps on interacting or navigating the new interface, please reach out to us through our service desk line or through your partner so that we can intervene by providing more personalized training on 3.x. Right, so I think up to that, I don't think I have much. Unless there is a question. All right, if not, then I think we'll call it a training. We'll meet again either at your facility or in another virtual training like this. So for now, we just want to wish you a very good evening and a great time ahead as we approach the night. So thank you and have a great evening.